we're going to send this particular presentation to you. I would request people not to record any of these videos because we are anyway going to share you the step-by-step walkthrough PDF file so that you will have a full information about how you need to log in and how you can access all the learnings which are available in the PBL application. So please concentrate on the presentation. It's going to be important. And we'll take up the questions maybe at the end of the presentation. I would request people to ask questions relevant to your learning, relevant to your PJP program. I do see many of you have written mails or you have been trying to post some of the questions which are related to your onboarding process, like LOI, documents not getting uploaded.
The slide visible? I just have a doubt.
Yes, you're able.
Yeah, you're able to see the right. So there's a small delay here. Right. So what we're going to discuss is the registration process, the login, and the elements and the process that is available to you. Okay. So first we'll start up with the self-registration process. That is what you need to do when you are going to take this for the first time. Now, in the self-registration process, there are multiple steps that is involved here. So you are able to see the URL. It is talentnext.wipro.com/PBLApp. So this is a URL that you'll be using to sign or access the portal. So first time when you access our URL, you'll be diverted to a self-registration and sign-in page as displayed. So when you come for the first time into this URL, you need to have a permission to access this URL, right? So there are two things. One is to access the URL itself, and the next thing is for your subsequent login. So when you reach to this particular page, what you need to do is you need to do a self-registration. So at the bottom, you'll be able to see something called sign up now. So don't have an account, sign up now. So click on the sign up now screen. So that's a simple registration part that is going to happen here. In the registration, you are supposed to give your email ID. All right. So there's a very important point over here. The email ID that you are supposed to give should be the same email ID that you're given in our Wipro records. So you have to provide your email ID. After providing the email ID, there's a button called send verification code. So click on that, and to that particular mail ID, you'll get a 6-digit code which you need to enter it back. Then you need to set your own password, right? A display name and a given name. So complete this registration process and finally click on the create button wherein your account gets created. So here the important point would be you need to use the email ID, the same email ID which you have given in Wipro records. Once this is done, next time you'll be doing a sign in. So this sign up registration is a one-time activity. The next time when you come in, you can directly go to the sign in. You provide your email ID and the password that you have set to continue further. All right. So once you have given your email ID and password for sign in, you will get OTP again to your mail ID, re-enter it and get it successfully authenticated. So that's a first step into your login process. Now, once you are given the access to get the URL, then you land into a home page where you have a login button on the top right. So this is the page that you're going to get every time when you hit the URL after successful authentication. This is a regular process which you will be doing it up. Now you need to click on the login button. You'll ask for a sign in, give the same email ID and password so that you can continue. So there are multiple stages in your authentication process. Once your email ID and the password is verified, you will have a step-by-step process. So you get your email ID verified. Once that is done, then you will get into a second stage process. What is the second stage process? If your authentication is successful, your email ID and things are fine, you will get into a screen where you get a welcome message with your name displayed. That shows you have cleared your first step. The second step, it asks your PBLApp ID. So it has a welcome message and it asks for your PBL app ID. So what is your PBL app ID? It is nothing but your resume number. Whether it's resume number, resume ID, both are same. So your PBL app ID is going to be your resume number. So you provide your resume number over here. Click on the small checkbox at the bottom and then you click proceed. All right. So now here the point is your email ID should match our record. It should match with the resume ID. If all these things are fine, only then you pass on. Otherwise, you get certain error messages. So some of the common error messages over here, what the mistake you may have done is if you are given a wrong resume number, then you'll get a message called invalid PBLApp ID. So the resume ID should be perfect. Sometimes you may get the second message saying that account not found. So what does it mean? You have registered with a different email ID that is given from our account. So there's a difference between your email ID matching. So please ensure that you do a re-registration with the same email ID that you're given into our records. And there's a third screen saying that session expired. In case during this process, you have a network disconnect, your internet connection is not steady, or you have taken a long time in providing these inputs, all these things should be done within 30-45 seconds. If there is a delay in giving the OTP or the PBLApp ID, then naturally your session expires. If that is the case, at the bottom of the screen, you have another link called click here to log in. So log in again and then continue the process. So this is all about your self-registration as well as your login process. So hope things are clear with you. Now, once you are successfully in, then is the content that is getting displayed to you. So what next that you are going to do here? Once you successfully logged in, you get into a page where it contains two set of learning for you. One is called a PBL Foundation and the other one is called a PBL Core. So there are two set of learnings which you are going to do. On top of it, the moment you log in, you'll get a pop-up asking you to take up a mandatory information security course. So just take on that course first and then followed by this foundation and core. Now, the first thing is the foundation part. So what happens inside the foundation? The moment you click on PBL Foundation, you get into a page where you can see there are 4 basic courses which is been assigned to you. So it's right from the operating system to database fundamentals to OOPS and web programming. These are the 4 areas which any person entering into the IT world should be aware of. So all these things are video based learnings. So just get into these courses, have an idea about what all these things are about. Once you have completed, you will get a quiz enabled to you on the right top. Once that is enabled, just to take off that quiz to understand where you stand. Right. So this is the same process that you need to adapt for any of the 4 foundation courses which is being assigned to you. All right. So you are completing all these 4 courses. Once that is done, there are some additional things like IT trends and motivation. Foundation talks about the 4 primary courses, whereas the IT trends link will help you to get first-hand idea about the emerging technologies that are available in the market right now, starting from what is DevOps, Git, version control, AML kind of activities. So this will not have any quiz or something. This is for you to understand and to get an introductory idea about what these things are all about. So you're finishing both the foundation and the IT trends, and then you come into the core part of your learning, which is your PBL, that PJP core part. Okay, so you can get into the PJP core from this foundation link. The bottom you have something called a PJP core link, or from the main page you can click on the PJP core. Now here comes the actual technical learning for you. Now, whether every one of you is going to be mapped to the same stream? No. Based on the business requirement, each one of you has been identified and marked to a specific technology. So some of you will be on Java, some on .NET, some on testing, some on Python kind of tools. So whichever stream you have been mapped, that is the content that is going to get loaded for your account. So which stream you belong to, you can see on the top center, there is something called a stream, which is available. Now for the purpose of a demo, I'm showing you a Java J2EE stream. So, however, whatever stream you belong to, the flow, the learning journey, the content style is going to remain same. So you can just watch on what I'm going to tell you on the various action items over here, and that remains same for all the streams. Now, before I get into that, first of all, we need to understand what is the approach of learning that will be adapted here. Of course, in the college, the way you learn will be quite different. You emphasize more into the theory part, but here the approach, the motto, what we follow here is something called project-based learning. That's what we shortly called PBL. So what is the ultimate goal here? It is not just a theoretical learning. It is about I understand. I do a lot of hands-on. I do a lot of projects, and by way of implementing multiple projects, you are going to learn a set of technologies. So that's how the approach would be here. So having said that, now once you are into this landing page, you can see that now on the left side you have a menu item, right? And that menu item, if you see, there are some links which are marked in blue color, and there are something which are marked in gray color. So what is that which is blue and the gray color? So the difference here is the blue ones are called the tech modules, whereas the gray ones are called tech capsule. So that's the difference between capsule and a module. So which I'll be letting you know what is all about, right? So the blue ones are called the tech modules and the gray ones are called capsules. Now, what is that module and what is that capsule means? So first we'll get into the modules. So modules are nothing but a group of or a set of topics which you are going to learn. Now, when you open any of the modules which is given in the blue color, it opens up with 4 parts. So every module will have 4 parts into it, starting with a mini project, then topics to learn, learning outcome, and followed by sample questions. So there will be 4 parts into every module. So what is the flow that we need to do here is, first you need to open the mini project. So according to the tech module, according to the stream, there will be 1 or 2 projects which will be assigned. So you need to first open up the project. No need to complete the project, but you need to open up the project, understand what is the requirement given, what is the expected output on that particular project, right? So that's a PDF file which gets open to you. Now you will get an understanding about the requirement of the project. The next thing is what I need to learn to complete that particular project. So that is what is given as the topics covered. So to learn that particular topic, you get into the second section called topics to learn. So when you get into topics to learn, there will be the set of topics which will be given to you as part of this module, and each topic consists of two parts. One is the learning material, and the second part would be the hands-on assignments for that particular topic. For the learning, there will be multiple varieties of topics that will be given, variety of topic learning. So it can be in the form of a PDF, external video links, or external website links. So whichever you feel it's convenient, you can go ahead and complete your learning on that particular topic, right? So whichever way you're comfortable, or multiple ways, you can take it up and go through, complete the learning of that particular topic. Once that is done, when you come down, there is a set of sample assignments. So the questions will be given to you as form of assignments which you need to complete. Now where you do, not on this platform, you are going to do this hands-on on your local environment, on your local machine with the required softwares and the IDEs. You will be completing these hands-on assignments. Once you complete these assignments, what you need to do is, against every assignment, every question, there is a checkbox which you need to click on those checkboxes, and then on the top you have something called update a completion status. So clicking on this update completion status will keep you updated on the tracker. All right, so you are doing the learning, then you're coming to the hands-on assignment, you are completing those assignments and then updating in the dashboard. All right, so these are the main things. So if a module contains 4 or 5 topics, you are supposed to complete all the topics and the required assignments that is being given on all the topics. The other two parts, which is nothing but the learning outcomes, that talk about what is the expectation from this module, and there's the last part which is called as sample questions, which is for you to recap. So when you see a set of sample questions, the purpose would be you should be able to answer these sample questions. If you're able to answer all the questions, you're good to go. If not, you need to do a recap, right? So once the learning is completed of all the topics, go back to the project section. Since you have learned all the necessary things for that particular project, you can go ahead and implement that particular project. So get that project completed. So completing the project and completing all the assignments ensures that you have completed the entire module. So that is how you need to go to each and every module. Based on your stream, there will be 8 to 10 or 12 modules being assigned. So go ahead with one by one. So this is the pattern that you will be following it to complete for all the given modules, right? So that is a very important aspect. So the first segment is the foundation that is completed, and the second part is the technical learning on the core, which is the completion of tech modules. Now the third element that comes into picture is another very important aspect. For any person entering into the IT world, it is not just about writing a program as per my wish, or doing with the objective of I just want a compilation free and some output to come. But in the real world, it is something different. It is not about just writing any program. It is about how best you solve the problem, how best you implement the logic into your code so that your program becomes effective. So how do you do that? So to do the problem solving, there is another segment of learning which is going to help you. That is what you call as problem solving and logic building. In the portal, if you see on the left side menu navigations, there are few links called logic building, R plan, M1, 2A, 2B kind of links. These are the links which will help you to understand how do you deal with different kind of problems, right from number based to string or array based kind of activities. So please go through these documents, learn and understand the step-by-step process which is required for improving the logic. Apart from that, in the other documents, there are a lot of sample links, demo links that is being provided on a platform called Metal. So what you need to do is you need to open this link. How do you open the link? It is given in the documentation. You cannot directly click on that link. You need to either copy the link, paste it in a new tab of your browser, or you can just drag and drop these links into the browser. So that Metal platform, you have a problem statement, you have a place to code, and there is a place to test against the test cases. You have close to 50-60 such demo programs which you can practice, and these programs are with ranging from different levels, right from easy, medium to difficult. So once you're able to practice against all these programs, definitely you have a lot of improvement in your problem solving skills, right? So this is about logic building. Now there is a platform called Metal. In case you have any challenges in understanding about this platform, or how do I go and compile my code kind of stuff, in the main page on the top generic section, you have a link called Metal Usage Guide. So when you use that guide will help you to understand this platform much better. So this is your third segment, which is your problem solving and logic building activity, right? So now you have done your technical learning, you are doing with assignments, projects, also you are covering up with the problem solving techniques. Now what next? The next step would be, you have done all these codes, you have done the project. So how do you send it to us for review and checks? So there is a provision for you to submit your completed assignments and projects. That is where we get into something called a code completion tracker. Shortly we called as CC tracker. The link for this is also given on the main menu. On the generic section on the top left side, there is also a step-by-step guide given to this CC tracker. Now once you open the CC tracker, it asks again for your username and password. Here the username and password for you will be your resume ID. I repeat, for the CC tracker, you are not going to give your email ID or something. You have to give your resume number as username and password to enter into the CC tracker. Once you are inside the CC tracker, you will get the same mapping of your modules of your stream data, having two sections. One is the project submission and the other one will be the hands-on submission. What you need to upload, in what format you need to upload, is given as instructions on top of the page. You can upload only two format of files. One is a zip file, or it's a single plain text file. Only these two things can be uploaded, nothing else. Also, if you're creating a zip file, ensure that it contains only the plain source code of the assignments and projects. It should not contain any library files, jar files, exes, DLLs, nothing of that kind. Only the plain source code should be available in the zip file, else your file will be rejected. Now, how do you upload? The step is, first you select against the button for which module you are going to upload. So select that module, then you come down. In the bottom, you have another set of selection of what you're uploading, whether you're uploading a project or you're uploading an exercise. So select accordingly. Then there is a choose file. Click on that choose file. Select the file which you are going to upload. ensure that it has a proper naming convention, and then you can click on the upload zip file. So once you click on that, your file gets for a verification for malware and other checks. If your files are fine, then you will get a message accordingly stating the file is uploaded successfully. Right? So if there is any error, you will get those error messages on the top of the screen with the relevant message stating what is the error for rejection. Right? So you need to act accordingly. Now, once you have uploaded successfully, it will not be immediately reflected against that particular module. So there is a background check that will happen. So the next time when you log in into the CC tracker, after some time, you will get the submission updated against that particular module. So you'll be able to see how many submissions you have done. You can even do multiple uploads for the same module. The last one will be taken for consideration. So in case you have uploaded wrongly, you need to re-upload, you are good to go with that, right? So this upload will help us track your completions, and based on that, your module completion percentage will be taken out. All right. So this is the another key element, the fourth element for you to submit your completed assignments and projects. Now, the segment for you would be right. So now you're going to do a remote learning. You are going to do it completely from your side. Now, what happens if you are stuck somewhere and you need some guidance and support? So what you should do, right? So there comes a handy activity called a discussion board. So the link for this is again given on the main page. So you can just click on that. So once you log in into the discussion board, you will give, you'll get a list of forums which you are going to use for your query posting, right? So once you're into the discussion forum, what you need to do is go to the specific forum for which you have a doubt. So this is completely a technical forum, right? So for example, say I'm working on a J unit and need some support on the J unit, go to the J unit forum, post your queries. You can even have a screenshot of your queries. It can be either on the PBL learning or your hands-on assignments. So just post your query. Now what happens is you have a set of colleagues of your batch of training who are part of that particular group, and if somebody knows the answer, they will be posting the reply, or else our SMS will be there to support you. So this way you can get your technical solution for your queries. And the other way is you also have an email which is head.pgp@wipro.com, which you can send for your support queries. And this is purely only for this PBL learning activity, nothing related to your onboarding or other document verification. This email in this discussion forum is purely for the technical aspect with respect to the PBL app, right? So the last part of it is the dashboard. On your PBL app portal, on the top, you have a menu wherein you can click on My Dashboard, which will help you understand where you stand, how many submissions are being made, and what is your progress percentage. That will help you to track where you are. Right, so these are various elements which are available to you as part of your learning journey into this PBL app portal. Right, so that comes to the end of this presentation over here. Before I conclude, let me put up a few points, maybe like an FAQ, which will help you to take for a smooth journey. Right. So hope you have understood this particular flow. Now the key important aspect is point number 1. Please use the exact link that we will be sharing it with you on this document as well as on the mail. do not just go for Google, search for something like Wipro, PGP, get some link and try to use it. It may not work out for you. So please use the exact link. So that is point number 1. Point number 2, this link and the credentials given to you is only for your exclusive usage. Do not share the link or your credentials with some of your friends.
Team, you'll have to complete it and your access will be enabled by tomorrow, Suresh?
Yeah, access will be enabled by today night or by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
So probably from tomorrow post lunch, they'll be able to use it.
Okay, somebody is just trying to log in. I'm providing my correct resume ID and PBL app.